Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar and workshop series conducted by TCS in lieu of the upcoming OCS exams happening in November 2024. My name is Nick and I'm the lead tutor and evaluator for OCS at TCS. So let's look at the session plan. Today's session is going to be quite small because we are not going to take a lot of time. I don't want to take up a lot of your time because I simply want to share some tips which will enable you to maintain a high level of confidence at your real examination, because I know for a fact that you guys might be busy with your last minute revision. So this session will only take up 20 to 30 minutes of your time. And after I've shared last minute tips with you, I will be opening up for a Q&A. So if you have any last minute doubts or concerns, you can get them addressed at this Q&A session. So what are you supposed to do to maintain a high level of confidence? So as per our study plan, you are supposed to start relaxing right now. So we shared two different study plans with you. We shared an 8-week study plan, and on top of that, we also shared a 3-week study plan focused on people who started their preparations late. So irrespective of the study plan which we have adhered to, you are expected to focus your attention towards revision in these final days leading up to your examination. Some of you might be trying to attempt mock exams. That's quite all right, but don't pressurize yourself too much, because your objective should be to go through the answer plans, go through the suggested answers, and try to conduct your revision. So if you had adhered to our original study plan, the 8-week study plan or the 3-week study plan, then in these final days leading up to your examination, you are expected to focus your attention towards redeveloping answer plans, or simply you are expected to go through the answer plans which we have developed focused on the 6 mock exams. So even if you had invested on another tutor or another service provider's mock exams or study material, go through the suggested answers provided, and based on the suggested answers, develop answer plans or short notes, which is the best way to understand how to structure answers, as well as then you'd understand how theoretical elements should be brought in when developing answers, and you'd understand how to work on your application skills. So rather than doing that, I do not encourage you to focus your attention towards attempting mock exams, because just because you attempt mock exams, you won't pass your exam. Instead, your focus should be on redeveloping answer plans, because if you get your answer structures right, if you are capable of planning your answers appropriately, then you will be successful at your real examination. So before the exam, what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to rest your mind and body. And that's why, as per the study plans which we have shared with you, we have asked you to complete all work 2 or 3 days before your examination, and with the intention of resting your mind and body. And if you had adhered to our study plans, from this week onwards, from today onwards, you are simply supposed to either redevelop answer plans or go through the answer plans which we have shared with you. So this should be done with the intention of resting your mind and body. Why is this the case? Because as I've mentioned throughout this webinar and workshop series, the examiner is trying to replicate a real life corporate environment. So it's as if you walk into office and switch on your laptop or your computer, you go through your emails, and based on the information presented, you are supposed to come up with your evaluations or recommendations. So a similar approach should be adhered to at your real examination. So it's as if you are walking into office. So when you are walking into office on a Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, you need to make sure that you are well rested, because if not, you won't be successful. You won't have the capability to conduct your affairs or carry out your responsibilities in a successful manner. So at your exam as well, you should not be up late. Instead, get your sleep appropriately, because if you are well rested, you will come up with some well structured answers. If you are well rested, you will manage your time appropriately at the exam, and if you are well rested, then you are in a position to manage your stress levels. If not, most students do this mistake. They keep conducting their preparations until the last moment. I hope you guys are not doing it, because when dealing with so many students out there, what I've understood is students stay up late trying to attempt mock exams, trying to develop answer plans and whatnot, especially closer to the exam. This leads to extreme levels of stress. So when you are stressed before the examination, at the exam, you will be stressed again because you have not rested your mind. Your body is not rested. So when you are stressed at your real examination, it will impact your marks, because if you're stressed, you will panic, and panic leads to brain freeze. Brain freeze is a situation where you are trying to come up with an answer, but you can't think anything properly. You cannot come up with an answer. So with the intention of ensuring that you are successful at your exam, you have to rest your mind and body, and do not refer to any study material, mocks, or answer plans a day before your exam. So let's assume your exam is on Tuesday. You have to stop all your preparations by the end of the day's end of Sunday. Take a break on Monday, because if you are well rested, then you would be extremely successful at your exam. You might think that I'm crazy to ask you to stop all your work a day prior to the exam, but it's essential that you walk into your exam with a clear head, because I've seen students, even before, just 30 minutes before the exam, I've seen students at examination centers going through mock exams, or their study notes, their answer plans, or whatnot. Whereas you are supposed to walk into your exam with a clear head, because if you are walking into the exam with an open mind, you will see, you will read through all the information and see the information as it is. Because if you try to refer to mock exams or answer plans, you will view certain questions in the same angle based on the mocks which you have gone through right before walking to your exam. So don't do it. You have to be fresh. You need to walk into the exam with a fresh mind. You have to have a higher level of open-mindedness. If so, then you'd come up with answers which are totally aligned with the requirement, answers which are totally aligned with what appears within the scenario. You are in a position to clearly understand each requirement, and on top of that, you will manage your time appropriately. You will come up with well planned out or well structured answers, and you will have the capability of managing your stress levels at your real examination. So with this in mind, you have to stop all your work a day prior to the exam, sleep, eat, and rest well. And before the exam, you can start doing this a day before your examination. Think that you are the finance officer at back office, because this mindset will help you to excel at your examination. Because if you really think that you are working for this organization back office, and if you really think that you're trying to add some value to the organization, then you will come up with answers which are totally aligned with the internal dynamics of your company. So don't simply read through the scenarios and try to develop answers. Instead, simply think that you are working for this company. If you think in these terms, then you will always consider the internal dynamics of your chosen company. And when developing answers, you will come up with answers which are totally aligned with what appears within your pre-seen document. And it's quite normal for students to feel negative a day or two before the examination. Probably you are feeling this at the moment as well. That's quite normal, because it's not only you who is being exposed to these types of negativity. Everybody out there who is attempting a CIMA case study examination will feel pins, will feel butterflies in their stomachs. That's quite normal, because this is an extremely challenging examination. It's not easy. So when facing a challenging situation, that's how our minds will work. Our brain will, as I've mentioned in the fourth webinar, our brain will keep asking us to move away from a stressful situation. So the exam is the stressful situation. So since the exam is coming up, however much prepared you are, you will always try to do something, because your mind tells you to go through revision cards or your study notes or attempt mock exams. Even if you had done all 6 mock exams, you will try to attempt all 6 mocks once more, or your brain will tell you to go through answer plans or redevelop answer plans, or go through your study notes, your study texts and whatnot, which should not be the case, because as I've mentioned, if you had done your homework, you need not worry. This is the time to relax, because if you relax, as I've mentioned earlier, you'd walk into the exam with an open mind, and since you're rested, you will perform extremely well at your examination. So you would have seen sportsmen and sportswomen. What they do is they put in a lot of effort when preparing for a certain meet or for preparing for a match or a tournament. But a day before the tournament, they start relaxing. So these are world-class athletes doing this. So why are they doing it? With the intention of resting their mind and body, because if they try to overstrain themselves, they will screw everything up. So avoid all these issues. It's quite normal for you to feel negative. Even world-class athletes or professionals out there, they feel this type of negativity. It's quite normal. That's how we are supposed to function. So whenever you feel negative, always remind yourself that you have done your homework and you just need 80 marks to pass. You just need 54% or 80 out of 150 to pass. So if you have done your homework, you need not worry about passing your exam, because achieving 80 marks is easy if you had adhered to our study plans, be it the 8-week study plan or the 3-week study plan. And it's of utmost importance that you be open-minded before the exam. That's exactly why I want you guys to stop all your work a day prior to the exam. If you are still into attempting mock exams, I don't mind you doing it today. But tomorrow onwards, your attention should be focused on conducting your revision. Don't attempt any mock exams tomorrow. If you're left with certain mock attempts, forget about attempting the mocks. You'd be wasting time if you try to allocate 3 hours of your time and attempt a full mock exam. Instead, go through the questions and the suggested answers, and based on the suggested answers, develop answer plans. If your study provider has not shared answer plans with you, you have to develop your own answer plans. So based on the suggested answers, start developing short notes or answer plans, so that you revise or improve your knowledge about how to structure your answers. That's the only thing which you're supposed to do leading up to your examination. And even if you do all these things, you have to stop work a day before your exam and start relaxing, because if so, you will be open-minded. If you are open-minded, you will read through scenarios and come up with answers which are totally aligned with the scenario at hand, and you will always come up with answers which are totally aligned with the requirement as well. So do these things before the exam, so that you are conducting your revision, however, in a relaxed atmosphere, which will enable you to walk into your exam in a well-rested situation. And during the exam, what are you supposed to do? So if you are confident before the exam, then you have taken your first step towards maintaining confidence at your real examination. So if you are exposed to extreme levels of fatigue, and if you are stressed, and if you have not slept properly, and if you had not taken your meals on time, then at the exam you'd be exposed to extreme levels of stress once more. So in order to manage your stress levels at the exam, keep you start relaxing right now. If so, you will be relaxed at your examination as well. So during the exam, with the intention of managing your stress levels, you need to stick to the exam technique routine. So I've highlighted this in the third webinar, as well as via the workshops which I've conducted for you. So as per our answering and time management technique, you are supposed to allocate 5 minutes of your time to read through the scenario, then allocate 15 to 20 minutes of your time to develop an answer plan covering all subtasks which appear within a section. Then the remaining time, which could be 25 minutes or 20 minutes, should be allocated towards expanding your answer plan, thereby typing your final answer thereby coming up with a paragraph per answer point, which appears within your answer plan. So if there were 7 valid points within your answer plan, then in your final answer, you need to have 7 paragraphs. So stick to this technique, which you have practiced when attempting the mock exam. Stick to this technique because this is the best way to ensure that you manage your stress levels. Why is this the case? Because although you have to sit in one place and be exposed to stress for 3 hours at a stretch, if you stick to this answering technique, it's as if you are taking a break after you had developed the answer plan. Because when reading through the scenario and developing the answer, that's where you really need to get everything right. That's where you are planning as to what you need to include within the answer. But when it comes to expanding the answer plan, or when it comes to typing the final answer in paragraph form, you are not expected to think. Simply, it's just a matter of expanding your answer plan. So typing is easier than planning. So you are not focused on planning 3 hours throughout the examination. Instead, you are planning for 15 to 20 minutes. Then you are focusing your attention towards typing. So you are taking a break, somewhat of a break for 15 to 20 minutes. And when you are in task number 2, again, you are spending 20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes to plan. And once you have spent time on planning, you are taking a break for 15 to 20 minutes when you are typing the answer. So you are taking breaks throughout the examination, which will make sure that you are well poised to manage your stress levels. So stick to the same exam technique routine at your real examination. And even after doing this, if you feel stressed, you have to take steps to switch off your amygdala. I explained these things in depth in the 4th webinar. So there's this small part of our brain, which is known as the amygdala, which gives us the fight or flight response, or in other words, which gives us the stress response. So whenever we are exposed to a stressful situation, your amygdala will come into play, and the amygdala warns you to either fight the stressful situation or take flight from a stressful situation. So you cannot fight the stressful situation at your exam, because if you try to fight stress, you will be exposed to more and more stress at your real examination. So the only option at your disposal is to move away from the stressful situation. So that is why, especially towards the last 2 tasks, because you'd be comfortable in the first 2 sections. However, in the last 2 sections, sections 3 and 4, there's a tendency for students to come up with rushed answers, or come up with answers which are not well thought out, or where to come up with just answer plans. Why? Because students are trying to finish off the exam as fast as possible, because your brain is asking you to get yourself out of a stressful situation. So that should not be the case. You need to utilize your time to its fullest. Even if you are exposed to a stressful situation, you have to understand that it's your amygdala which is trying to ask you to get out of a stressful situation. So you need to take steps to switch off your amygdala, because as I mentioned in the 4th webinar, when developing answers, you are supposed to utilize your prefrontal cortex. That's the front part of your brain. If you utilize your prefrontal cortex, you will come up with rational decisions, and the rational decisions are the best type of decisions out there. So when you are expected to utilize your prefrontal cortex, when the amygdala is in play, you'd try to panic and you'll come up with emotional decisions. So you're not expected to come up with emotional decisions as the finance officer of this company. Instead, you are supposed to use the front part of your brain, or the prefrontal cortex. So if you're exposed to stress, then you need to take some steps to switch off your amygdala. Always remind yourself, tell yourself, okay, it's time to switch off the amygdala, because the brain listens to what you tell it. So tell yourself at the exam, if you are exposed to a stressful situation, okay, brain, switch off the amygdala. That's the first step towards letting the brain know that you want to get rid of a stressful situation. And if possible, drink some water. If you're attempting the exam at home, you can't do this And in certain examination centers, the invigilators won't allow you to drink some water. However, if it's possible, drink some water because it will help calm your nerves. And with the intention of switching off the amygdala, close your eyes and breathe slowly for 2 minutes. You might think that I'm asking you to waste time at the exam. That is not the case. There's absolutely no point. If you are stressed at the exam, there's absolutely no point of trying to fight the stress, because when you try to do so, it leads to brain freeze. So rather than being exposed to brain freeze, it's best that you take 2 minutes off and focus your attention towards breathing. If you do so, your amygdala will switch off and your brain functions will shift back to your prefrontal cortex. So with this in mind, you need to focus on your breathing. So when breathing, inhale through your nose and exhale from your mouth. When inhaling through your nose, count to 3 slowly. And when exhaling through your mouth, again, count to 3 slowly. So when you do this for 2 minutes, your amygdala will switch off and you will rest. It's as if you are refreshing your brain or resting your brain. And when you are relaxed once more, then you are in a position to keep fighting forward. So close your eyes and breathe slowly for 2 minutes. When inhaling, do it via your nose. And when exhaling, breathe out from your mouth. And when inhaling, count to 3 slowly. And when exhaling through your mouth, count to 3 slowly. Do this for 2 minutes, then you'd be successful. You'd be in a position to successfully overcome a stressful situation. And it's best that you take a 2-minute break between sections or tasks. So before, let's assume you're done with task number 1. Before you start with task number 2, before you read through the scenario, close your eyes, focus on your breathing for 2 minutes. You are refreshing your brain. You are making sure that you are getting back your brain functions to your prefrontal cortex. And once you are done with it, start attempting task number 2. So if you keep on refreshing your brain at each task, you'd be doing this exercise 3 times throughout your real examination. And whenever you are exposed to a stressful situation, again, you are supposed to do this. This is the only way to get out of a stressful situation. This is the only way to conduct your affairs at your exam in a mindful environment. So you need to be mindful about how to overcome a stressful situation, how to keep fighting forward. Because if you don't try to get your bearings once more, if you don't try to refresh your brain, if you don't try to shift brain functions from your amygdala to your prefrontal cortex, whatever you do, it won't work for you. Because if you try to fight stress with stress, it leads to extreme levels of stress, and extreme levels of stress will lead you to a situation where you'd be exposed to brain freeze. So then you'd shut down. So rather than shutting down at your exam, the best thing to do is to refresh your brain and start from scratch by switching off your amygdala. And always whenever you are doubtful about your skill set, always remind yourself that you need just 80 marks to pass. I said that you are expected to do this whenever you are exposed to some type of negativity before the exam. So at the exam, if you start feeling negative, or if you start doubting your skill set, especially you'd be exposed to these type of situations towards section 3 and 4. Because when you are in section 3 and 4, you had already spent 1.5 hours of your time, and your brain was exposed to stress for 1.5 hours on a continuous basis. And on top of that, if you look at the attention span, considering a human brain, it's just 45 minutes. So once you're done with 1.5 hours of your time, you have overworked your brain. So because of that, it's quite normal for you to feel negative, because our brains are wired to feel negative about a certain situation. That's why human civilization had walked out of caves, and that's why where we are at the moment, because we are skeptical about things, and this skepticism had helped us to innovate and try and get rid of stressful situations get rid of problems which are thrown at us. So at the exam, since you are exposed to extreme levels of stress for 1.5 hours at a stretch, once you're done with the first two sections, from section 3 onwards, you'd feel extremely negative, and due to this negativity, you'd keep thinking about whether you developed good answers in sections 1 or sections 1 or 2. And if you had done a mistake, even if it's not a mistake, you'll try to think about something which happened in section number 1 or something which happened in section number 2. Is it beneficial for you to think about what happened in the past? Is it beneficial for you to think about what happened in section 1 and 2? Are you in a position to change your answers just because you think that you screwed up something in sections 1 and 2? You can't do so, because you can't go back to section 1 or 2. So your attention should be focused on the section which you are attempting right now. You should live in the moment. So there's absolutely no point of thinking about the past and trying to fix something which went wrong when attempting your previous sections, because you cannot go back to one of your previous sections. So focus on the task at hand. Even if you feel that you screwed up the entire exam, that's quite all right. You simply need to achieve 80 marks. Even if you screw up 2 of your tasks, if you focus your attention towards getting the remaining 2 tasks done in a successful manner, you will pass your examination. So always, whenever you feel negative, and these negativities are created because of the fact that you think about what went wrong when conducting your preparations, or what went wrong in when attempting your real examination. I've actually been having a chat with students after they have attempted their real examination. Most of the students feel negative. They don't believe that they can pass. And most students say that at the exam, they remembered what went wrong in their preparations when attempting mock exams, when developing answer plans and whatnot, which is totally unnecessary at your real examination, because there's absolutely no point of thinking about what went wrong when attempting mock exams, because it's a mock exam. At your exam, things are different. You although the questions will be similar, the scenarios will be similar, your answers should be totally aligned with what appears within the provided information. So whenever you feel, it's quite normal for you to feel this way, or get all these type of negative memories at your exam. Why is this the case? Because this happens when you are exposed to extreme levels of stress. So whenever you are reminded about what went wrong in your preparations, or what went wrong in a previous section, get out of a negative situation by simply reminding yourself that you just need 80 marks to pass, and always remind yourself that you have done your homework. Because as I mentioned earlier, after attempting each mock exam, when I have a chat with my students, they don't feel confident about themselves. They most of them say that they might have to repeat the exam. So I end up saying, okay, take a break. Let's wait until the results are out, to find out that these individuals who said that they are going to fail end up getting more than 100 marks. So the pass mark is just 80, but these students end up getting 100 marks, more than 100 marks. So it's it's unnecessarily, there's absolutely no point of doubting yourself if you have done your homework. Because you might think that you have not provided accurate answers, you might think that you screwed up everything, but the marker won't think in the same way. Because if you had done your homework, if you had attempted all 6 mock exams, if you have completed your revision, thereby redeveloping answer plans and referring to the answer plans, then you need not worry. Even if you think that you have not come up with an accurate answer, you will get extremely good marks once the results are out. So always remind yourself that you have done your homework and you just need 80 marks to pass. And always give your best shot. Don't think about what went wrong in your preparations or what went wrong in a previous section. Give your best shot, considering considering the task at hand. Focus on the section. in which you are trying to develop an answer right now. Consider the information presented, and based on it, simply replicate the same answering and time management techniques which you have practiced when attempting the mock exams. And it helps for you to be open-minded. So whenever you are exposed to a stressful situation, close your eyes, focus on your breathing, get out of the stressful situation. If so, as I mentioned earlier, it's as if you are refreshing your brain. And when you refresh your brain, you are achieving the required level of open-mindedness. So these are the things which you are supposed to do. Uh, you will feel stressed in these days leading up to the exam. It's quite normal. Even I felt these stresses as a student. Not just you, champions out there, even those who get country prizes or world prizes, even champion athletes, or board members in large multinational companies, they are exposed to stressful situations. All are human beings. However, if you keep fighting, if you take steps to overcome these stressful situations, however much prepared you are, you will feel stressed. So just remind yourself that you have done your homework, and you simply need to achieve 80 marks to pass your exam, which is quite easy if you have done your homework. So by practicing these techniques, you can pass for sure. So keep telling yourself that you are going to pass this exam. If so, you will be successful at your real examination. So those who stuck to these last minute tips were extremely successful at their real examination. For instance, Luca, who attempted his OCS exam last time, right after the exam, called me and was really upset about the examination. And he was saying that I, put in a lot of effort across 8 weeks. Still, I screwed up my exam. He was really upset about it. And when he got the results, he got 105 marks. So the pass mark is just 80. This dude got 105 marks, and he was uh, uh, on the verge of tears after the examination. So there's absolutely no point of worrying at the exam, absolutely no point of doubting yourself, because if you've done your homework, and if you keep fighting, if you take steps to manage stressful situations, if you stick to the answering and time management technique, you will be extremely successful at your once you receive your results. So your job at your exam should be to fight stressful situations, stick to the answering and time management technique. If so, you can pass for sure. All right. Having said that, I'm opening up for the Q&A. Let me pause the recording. Okay, another question had come through. I'm going to pause the recording once more. All right, so thank you very much for those questions. I hope I addressed everything. So if you want to contact us, you can do it via our website, which is www.study@tcs.com, or you can email us at info@study@tcs.com, or WhatsApp us on this number. And I invite you to follow us on our social media handles, especially TikTok and YouTube, because via our YouTube handle, you'd gain access to the recorded versions of our webinars and workshops, which are conducted on which were conducted on a weekly basis. And if you gain access to our TikTok handle, you will gain access to a good pre-seen mind map. So in the days leading up to your examination, keep watching these TikTok videos, which is the best way to keep yourself reminded about what appears, the most important points which appear within your pre-seen document. All right, so having said that, it brings us to the end of the webinar and workshop series conducted in lieu of exams, OCS exams happening in November 2024. I hope you benefited and gained something out of these webinars and workshops, and I wish you the best of luck at your examination. Be confident, because if you believe in yourself, then you will succeed at your real examination. And even if you feel negative, that's quite normal. Let go of this negativity by reminding yourself that you have done your homework and you just need 80 marks to pass. And at the exam, keep repeating the answering and time management techniques which we have taught you, and which you have mastered by now, because you have implemented these techniques when attempting the mock exam. So keep repeating the same technique at your examination, and whenever you are exposed to a stressful situation, focus on your breathing and get out of such a stressful situation, and keep fighting forward. When you feel negative at your exam, always remind yourself that you have done your homework and you just need 80 marks to pass, and keep moving forward. And after the exam, you will feel negative about the way in which you attempted your exam. That's quite normal as well. However, at once you get your results, you will be extremely happy to find out that you have scored more than 80. So don't worry, believe in yourself, and I wish you the best of luck at your real examination. Thank you very much and take care.